am now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. With me today is Troy Brittingham.
I just literally flung a bottle across your room, and I'm looking at it, and you started the episode, so I can't go pick it up now.
Yeah. And speaking of the episode is She-Hulk, episode 8, I think?
8.
Yeah. And I'm just going to... Daredevil, all right? There. Cool. Get it out of the way.
TB&J!
You doing okay? That was a weird intro.
No, I've been sick.
TB&J! TB&J!
You really kind of stumbled through that one.
I did. I'm not on my game right now. I was away for my anniversary. We went on vacation, Red and I got sick like immediately before. So we go away and like I can't sleep because every time I lie down, there's just like nasal fluid dripping down my throat. So
and
I can't,
1,000
lay
spiders.
down.
Think about that tonight.
No, there was no spiders on vacation. Actually, there was a lot of Amish though. We were out in Lancaster.
Are they Amish spiders? Just a spider with a little hat and
If we ever had an art team, I need them to do a T-shirt of an Amish spider.
Think about it. Spiders don't own phones.
Spiders don't have phones. You're right. Oh my God.
Spiders are all Amish by default.
They're just living the way God intended, without technology.
Anyway, tell me
But
about
I
the
thought
Amish.
spiders were all over the web.
All right. Well, I'll allow that one. I'll let that one slide.
All right. She-Hulk happened. Troy, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I'm thumbs up.
I am also thumbs up because I've been bitching for 8 episodes. Where the fuck is Matt Murdock and Daredevil? Because he was teased in the show, and
Well, they can't. They're in the same place. It's the same guy. They can't be in 2 different places.
What?
Yeah, you watched the episode actually.
Are they the same guy?
The
lawyer is also a superhero in Hell's Kitchen.
Hey, so you remember?
Anyway, so cut the shit. Yeah, I've been bitching since the beginning that we were promised Matt Murdock. I haven't seen Matt Murdock, and I was told we were led to believe he'd be a bigger piece of this show. I think.
I mean, he was in the trailer, and I think it was just kind of to get. I didn't assume he'd be more than this. The only thing I'm thinking is I expect him to be in the finale, and he might not be, because he said he's flying back to New York, and I mean they can work around that.
I mean, he was supposed to fly back today.
Yeah, they can work around that
in the universe, and that's the day that all shit breaks loose. So maybe he's just like, cancel my flights. I've got to go save my new girlfriend.
Also, it's fiction. They can say anything.
Well, yeah, I mean they can.
Yeah.
Daredevil's not rich, right?
No, he's not.
So it's not just
poor.
like cancel my flight. I'll just buy another ticket. It's like, oh shit, I have to like call American Airlines and reschedule.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get my money back. You can't just like throw away the cost of a plane ticket, especially from LA to New York. That's an expensive ticket, man. You're going from one coast to the other, from one major metropolis to the other. Like that's a very expensive plane ticket, man.
I would love if we have the lawyer drama now. I think that next we need just like the financial struggling of Matt Murdock as a whole episode, as a whole show. What do you think?
Can we have Jim Cramer on talking about how the price of gold is going up and we are in a recession and have been for 50 years?
No, but you can get Kramer from Seinfeld.
Pass.
All right.
Aside from Daredevil, Troy, what was your favorite part of this episode?
My favorite part of this episode, I like that it kind of finally had like some decently shot action scenes, because it's such a comedy show. There's a lot of the first fight scene of Hulk versus She-Hulk was pretty good, and then every fight after that has kind of been like, oh, it's a comedy show, it's not supposed to have good fights. But this
also
episode,
it kind of not to discredit your point at all, because obviously it's a comedy show, fight scenes were kind of secondary,
sure,
but also it one of my biggest problems with the Hulk as a superhero has always been like, he could just pulverize that guy. He could just literally smash him into nothing. Why is this a fight? And then they have to do shit like give Tony a giant Hulkbuster suit because they need something to level the playing
Well,
field.
yeah, it's the thing I always talk about of its weight classes.
Yeah, exactly. And you have She-Hulk, who's undeniably in like a huge upper echelon weight class, and then you have like the Wrecking Crew. I mean, it's not a fair fight. It's gonna be one-sided.
When she threw that guy into the brick wall, I was like, he doesn't get back up.
No, or when she threw that one guy into the other guy. I'm like, those guys are irreparably damaged. They're going to have trauma all throughout their body and brains. Like, there's no fucking way. So, in a way, I actually really enjoyed the fight scenes because it just hammers home the weight class idea.
Sure.
And
I was saying more, I just don't think that they're shot great.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but these ones were pretty well done. I also...
this is the first one that felt like, oh, right, this is a superhero show.
It's a Marvel thing, yeah.
Yeah. This is a Marvel show. That's Daredevil, and he's wearing that helmet that got teased like 3 episodes ago. You guys can't see this because this is an audio-only format. I rolled my eyes.
If you close your eyes and envision it, you can kind of see it.
Yeah, just imagine a generic white guy from Philadelphia without the beard or the Newport cigarettes.
We can't hype ourselves up too much. Like, we have to really kind of like make ourselves sound like, oh, we're hideous. So
I'm a huge uggo, man.
It's all the people are talking right now online about the dream reveal, and people are screaming and yelling about that. So we can't put any expectations on ourselves.
Of the 20 people that listen to our podcast, I'm pretty sure 19 of them know us in real life.
Yeah, and they all think that we're hideous.
Yeah, I'll give you a rim shot for that. Yeah, definitely the Daredevil shit. Like that was top tier for this episode for me. I don't know why I'm acting like you just asked me what my favorite part was, but I'm answering it anyway.
What was your favorite part, Jeff?
Thank you, Troy. It was the Daredevil fight.
It's interesting how you said other than the Daredevil stuff, what was your favorite part, and you decided that your thing was the Daredevil.
Was all the Daredevil stuff.
That's interesting. I thought that was fascinating that you did that.
It's called a double standard. And
I
hold myself to a double standard.
What it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, besides that, it's probably the climax of the episode where and actually no, it's not. It's all the fourth wall breaks that lead up to that. That was my favorite part of the episode because like Jen bangs Daredevil and he's doing the walk of shame home, holding his boots, just walking barefoot down the LA grass, and I'm like, that's a really funny image. How you just like, and I can't wait. I'm already like. I'm already tasting all the anger from boys on Reddit about how they emasculated your sweet Daredevil.
It's what I was thinking immediately when
I was like, oh, Daredevil's doing a walk home in bare feet. Oh no, have they emasculated your dream boy?
He was smiling. He was fine.
He fucking loved it. Of course he did. He and Jen hit it off wonderfully. And I wonder if there's any like comic reality that's based in of She-Hulk and Daredevil. I doubt it. I've never heard of that.
I have no idea. Those are two characters that I have not followed to any extent in my life.
Yeah, the extent of my Daredevil homework is the Ben Affleck movie that I saw when I was a kid.
Winner.
Yeah, didn't that have Kingpin in it?
It did, but it was Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, that was a good time. I mean, it was a bad time, but it was a good time too. Isn't the fluid that made Daredevil blind also what made the Turtles the Turtles?
So kind of.
Don't they exist in the same universe?
So
they're different comic companies.
There was like a kind of like a crossover event, but it was like very early in the Turtles lifespan. So it's like it was like a kind of they used it sort of originally, and then I think later they've branched off and just called it the Ooze, and it's a different thing entirely.
Yeah, I remember early on, like, there was a Daredevil crime gang called The Hand, and then the Turtles had one called The Foot.
Yep.
It was supposed to be...
It's a reference, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was when
I
more
say
of
the Turtles, I haven't specified for those who don't know. I don't know if you don't know. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Okay, like when you say the Turtles in comics, I feel like there's only
thought
one.
you were just talking about just there's not really any other
Troy,
Turtles.
why are the Turtles your favorite fighting game character in all of the NetherRealm games?
You say that? I do own them in Injustice 2. I have never played them.
You've never played as the Turtles?
I bought them. They're DLC characters. I don't have.
Why would you buy them if you're not going to play as them?
It's probably a season pass thing or whatever.
You're such a loser. Anyway, the fourth wall breaks were really, really good leading up to the end of the episode, because after she has sex with Daredevil, she's just like, why are you still here? The episode feels like it should be over, right? And then her friend comes in, like, oh, the gala, here's your dress. And it's like, oh, right. We have to do this. And then she has this whole conversation with us, the listeners or viewers, about how, like, ooh, is this the finale? Is this what we're building up to? Is there a twist? What kind of twist? Is it going to be like there's another Hulk, but he's red? And I'm like, oh, that might be the first time they've ever acknowledged a Red Hulk, like, out loud in a Marvel property.
I mean, technically, Thunderbolt Ross is the Red Hulk, and he's in a bunch of the movies.
Is he?
Yes.
Who is Thunderbolt Ross, for those who don't know, like me?
So Thunderbolt Ross is the military guy who, like, he's like the military general that, like, is out to go get the Hulk, and then eventually he turns himself into a Hulk. His daughter is even Betty Ross, who is the Hulk's love interest.
Oh.
And she eventually becomes the Red She-Hulk.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So, the seeds have been planted before in the Hulk movie.
Yeah.
But not... That was pre-Marvel.
Yes, that was Universal, yeah.
Yeah, that was a Universal movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the first Marvel Red Hulk.
Yeah, and it would be... It's not impossible that they get, like, Liv Tyler back to do...
I think it's impossible.
Do you think so?
I don't think Liv Tyler's coming back.
You don't think so?
Actually,
they got a lot of people back.
They did.
Tobey Maguire's in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, man, I'm so happy Tobey got a fucking Marvel movie. Yeah, maybe they get Liv Tyler back. Maybe.
Yeah. Listen, if they come up to you and go, "Hey, here's $6 billion,"
they're not gonna do that.
I know. I'm just saying. But
they're gonna say, "Liv, do you want a job? Here's a job. Come to work tomorrow." But no, it was a lot of fun, like getting the suspense built up, and then you're wondering like what's going to happen at the gala, and then you realize it's the culmination of the intelligentsia shit.
Mm-hmm.
They do this weird like public shaming on her in the middle of her awards ceremony, which was wonderfully done because like, oh, the Female Lawyer of the Year award goes to every female lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, cool, awesome. So just belittle the award. And then, what's your favorite part about being a female lawyer? Constantly having to answer the question, what's it like being a female lawyer? I'm like, oh, yeah. Men are stupid. And again, as that was happening, I was like, this is kind of funny and pretty tongue-in-cheek, but at the same time, yum. I can't wait to read all the hateful little comments from little incel boys on the internet.
This is the problem with this show. You're becoming me.
I am. Little bit.
We had a whole episode.
Troy, look under the chair. It's Guilty Gear.
Ooh. Which one?
I don't know.
Name one of them.
First one? Guilty Gear 1? Can I even play that today without a CRT TV?
I have no idea. Probably. Could probably find it somewhere.
Emulators exist on PC for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I am becoming you. I'm living for like with all the little hate things I'm gonna read about online.
We talked about Don't Worry, Darling, and you were just like, I don't care about this. I don't care about drama. And now Redditors are your.
I don't care about Hollywood drama. Rich people being mean to each other doesn't interest me at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when a TV show does something funny or something awesome, and it shines men in like a slightly embarrassing light, or it shows them being a little more fucking human and less like weird statuesque people of masculinity, and then the internet just like has a meltdown. They're just like, oh no, my man he's a regular guy who has sex with women and then has to walk home. Like, yeah, welcome to fucking the real world, man.
Hey, can I say a thing in confidence? So you don't think that Dee's going to listen to this episode, right?
Not a chance.
All right, then I feel safe saying this. I'm going to look around both ways just to make sure that he's not in the area, because I don't want to sound too much like him or encourage him. You should watch Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I definitely should. Give me your Apple TV login and I'll watch Ted Lasso.
I've used somebody else's.
There you go. That's
the only reason some people haven't watched it.
That's the only reason I won't watch it is because I won't get Apple TV. I will not give Apple my money. Fuck Apple.
Get a free trial and then just binge it all real quick.
Yeah, because I have the time or patience to do that. No, I'll eventually end up consuming it in one form or another because everyone in the entire world has told me that I would love Ted Lasso, and I'm sure
You're
I
also
would.
getting into soccer.
I am following the Philadelphia Union.
A little bit of footy.
Philadelphia Union is on their way to the playoffs. I don't think they managed to clinch the Supporters' Shield this year, which, as you know, Troy,
Yep,
but for our listeners
do.
who don't know, it's the award given to the team that has the best regular season record.
Of course I knew that.
Traditionally, in most football in the world, if you have the best season record, you just are the champion of that league. That's how it goes.
I don't even know why you keep explaining because I know so much about this.
But in America, everything is about playoffs, so we have football playoffs. So the Union is going into the playoffs, and they're going to try to win the cup. I'm a little excited for that, actually. But this isn't the soccer podcast. She-Hulk. They like smear her, and it's obviously Josh putting all that shit all over from her phone all over the screen. Just like private text messages and like her matcher shit, and then like it started playing a video that I guess he took of them like getting down to it in her room.
So here's a question. So far it is Josh and Todd, who are both kind of like confirmed in it, I think, at this point.
Is Todd confirmed in it?
I thought he was one of the guys in sort of the... I thought he was wearing like the same outfit as everybody else.
We saw him at the gala.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see him necessarily... Because like everyone that we assume was part of it, that was taking videos of her reacting and smashing the screen, they all had masks up over their faces and sunglasses. We couldn't necessarily see who they were.
I was gonna say, so it's always a thing of like who is the person running the site. Do you think they're gonna do a thing of like, because it was a group of like 4 guys. Do you think it's all of the guys from the show so far, like all the dating app guys?
It could be, but I also think that there's more to it than that. I don't want to say Todd is in it, but at the same time, he did brag to her that he now owns a Wakandan spear, which I assume is vibranium, which I assume is the only thing strong enough to pierce her. And we have no idea what exactly Josh did with that blood sample he seems to have gotten and sent it away to the Hulk King. So that has to come to fruition at some point. I'm very curious to see where it goes. It seems like they have a lot of loose ends and not a whole lot of tying up done so far. And the show only has, 1 episode left?
Yep.
So
next one's the finale.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the last episode. Do you think Banner comes back?
Well, he's off in space. I really don't think
he was off in space. He could be done.
I feel like space is pretty big. I feel like you don't come back from space immediately.
We don't know exactly how much time has passed between then and now.
I guess you're right. I'm going to say
not
no,
a lot,
though.
but you know.
I'm going to say it's much higher likelihood that you're going to get
She-Hulk, Daredevil.
What if we get Daredevil and Wong?
I mean, yeah, Wong is in town.
Wong seems to be in everything all the time. Like Wong has the most free time out of all the Avengers, apparently. So I mean, he's not technically an Avenger. He's a friend of an Avenger that happens to do a lot of avenging. He's always in the neighborhood of avenging. All the time Steve leaves to go to work, and he's like, "Hey, Wong, you down for some avenging today?" He's like, "Yeah, I can do some avenging today. Yeah, why not? I can fit some avenging into my schedule."
He's like sitting there watching the football game, and it's like the Colts versus the Broncos, and he's just like, nobody's scoring touchdowns in like 2 quarters. Yeah, I'll come with you. I'm not gonna watch this fucking game.
Listen, you don't have to. I have to avenge. You don't have to avenge.
Nah, the game's boring. Russell Wilson's falling apart. I don't even know who the Colts have as a quarterback anymore. Let's just go.
All right, let's go avenge.
That's a good question. Who is the Colts quarterback this year?
I was about to say I don't know what the question is. I don't know how good it is.
Oh, it's Matt Ryan, and his backup is Nick Foles. What the fuck? What year is it? I don't even know, man. So for context, I love football. Everyone knows this. The Colts are playing the Broncos tonight. That's a real thing. And they're 2 of the worst teams in the NFL.
Now, is this football or football?
Gridiron. American Gridiron. Oh God, I wish we called it Gridiron, man. Because football is so confusing. But in Australia, they say football and they say American Gridiron. And I fucking love Gridiron.
I mean, that's a cooler name and actually more accurate to what it is, kind of.
Right. So, like, I would have fucking loved it if the fucking America would just shut the fuck up and accept Gridiron as a name. But then we'd be the NGL. Not gonna lie. No, I'm kidding. We're not.
All right, but now you've convinced me that that's what it should be.
It should be Gridiron, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody write in. Tell me if you prefer football or Gridiron. All right? And if you say football, you're wrong.
I think we should call it Thrash Ball.
Thrash Ball. Coltrane, baby! Woo!
So we should talk about She-Hulk. Yeah.
She-Hulk.
So...
there's not much else to talk about. It was a big episode because a lot of things happened that we've been waiting for. Because Matt Murdock finally showed up, and he and Jen hit it off, and they seemed to be like
They
thing.
did try to give Daredevil a hallway fight scene. He's famous for hallway fight scenes.
He is, and he almost had one. They teased it so much because the bad guys show up and he's on the other side, and it cuts between the bad guys and him, the bad guys and him, the bad guys and him, and it cuts back and forth too often that it's like,
he listens
it's a joke.
to the guy spinning the chain around.
Yep, and it's like, all right, this is clearly a joke they're setting up. What happens? And then She-Hulk just like drops on top of them and just crushes them all. And I'm just like, oh, fantastic.
And they're all dead now. They died horribly.
I mean, probably. That's not inaccurate.
How many people do you think, like, realistically in superhero movies are killed horribly and then the hero, like, throws out, like, a catchphrase like it's cute?
I mean, just to take my favorite out of the bottom of my ass, Batman. It happens regularly.
No, he doesn't
in the
kill
Arkham
anybody.
games.
He just gives a lot of people traumatic head trauma and internal bleeding all the time.
In the Arkham games, in Arkham Knight, you have the Batmobile, which you can control remotely with your wrist. And there's a scene where you're trying to get information out of a thug. So you back up the Batmobile tire against his face and then rev the engine and just make it inch backwards like you're going to crush his skull.
I also love in that game that
Batman's the good guy, guys.
I love that the way they explain when you run people over is like a little electrical zap comes off of the Batmobile and knocks somebody away. And you're like, that doesn't... I was going 300 miles an hour.
You're trying to tell me that the Batmobile just happened to notice a guy in front of me and project an electric field that zapped him and made him fly in the other direction.
And then he outran the Batmobile in the air.
No fucking way.
He went under the car, guys.
Also, even if you zap him and throw him away from the car, you're still throwing that man at a velocity into something else. The odds of him hitting his skull and dying are very high.
He's turning into red mist in contact with anything.
And then in fucking Arkham Origins, you have the electrocutioner's gloves. So you power those up. You just have electrical punches. You're just like literally electrocuting people as you punch them. Batman might not be a good guy, guys. I mean, this is a hot take, all right?
Oh, let's face it, all superheroes are accidental murderers, so...
What?
The only one that's not an accidental murderer is Punisher, because he just murders
He's
people.
an on-purpose murderer. Which, the new Arkham game, oh my god, we're so off track. The new Arkham game, you can play as Red Hood in Gotham Knights. And
literal actual murderer.
One of his moves is he attaches a bomb to a thug and then throws them into other thugs and then shoots the bomb and blows them all up. And then because it's an Arkham game, they all just kind of flop over unconscious.
Yeah, it's to hurt you a little
I
bit.
assume they're unconscious. They might actually be dead because you're playing as Red Hood. I remember in Arkham...
Arkham has the balls to do that, I feel like.
I mean, in Arkham Knight, they had the balls to do it. In Arkham Knight, you could play as Red Hood in the DLC, and he straight up, instead of batarangs, he just had guns. And you could just straight up kill people. Like, you would hit left trigger real quick to pull out your guns, and he would just literally shoot them dead.
Right.
And then every combat challenge was just a walk in the park. So, I mean, you never know. Arkham killed quite a few people, actually. They killed Poison Ivy, they killed Joker, they killed Batman, allegedly.
And then they brought in the thing that Batman also dies in a very similar way, and then they're saying that's not in the same universe. But, whatever. Who cares?
I'm pretty sure every person, because I'm on the Batman subreddit, everybody has just kind of agreed that we're ignoring that, and it's the next Arkham game. Because Batman's definitely going to be alive somehow.
Wasn't there like a split second where they said that the Suicide Squad game is like canon to the Arkham thing, and everybody's like, that's not true, incorrect.
Yeah, I think they tried to say the Suicide Squad game is canon to this Arkham game.
To this Arkham game,
I think
that's even more confusing.
I don't remember, man. Just like the real DC universe, this universe is just as confusing. I prefer to take it like single shots.
But it
one at a time.
wasn't. It didn't need to be. We were fine.
It didn't need to be until they added other things and then an Arkham game that wasn't made by the original Arkham people. I don't know, man. I don't even know anymore, man. Everything's fucking nuts. I just want my Batman back.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're probably never going to make more Batman stuff. He seems like a character that they probably don't usually try to work with.
Yeah, I can't imagine they're gonna do another 3-hour movie.
No, I don't think so.
Or more video games after those.
Did the Rob Pattinson movie even make any money?
No, I think it actually they lost like $4 trillion on it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fans demanded refunds afterwards.
Well, at least we have Batgirl
And Morbius.
and
Don't forget we have Morbius in this
universe. Are you
universe.
excited for we have El Muertes coming out?
El Muerte?
Yeah, thank you. But it's
The
a
Death.
it's a Sony movie. It's a Spider-Man villain no one cares about. It's going to be in the Morbiverse.
Just accept that no one likes your Spider-Man
in
movies.
the Morbiverse.
Look, just accept that no one likes your Spider-Man movies anymore and give the rights to Marvel. Sell them for like $1 billion. Just get rid of them. Just stop it, Sony. Just fucking stop it. All right? You can't even put your fucking game console
Black
on the
Cat and
shelves.
Silver Sable movie. That's
I
coming
want
out
that.
eventually.
I don't want Sony to do it. I love Black Cat. I love Silver Sable. I don't want Sony to touch those characters at all. I want Sony to stay far away from them unless they're in the Spider-Man PlayStation games because those are actually good.
Mm-hmm.
And Silver Sable and Black Cat are in them both, and they're good. Just stay away from the big screen with them. Just stop, Sony. Just stop.
No. You're gonna listen. When Silver Sable and Black Cat is just as good as Morbius, you're gonna feel real silly.
I'm gonna say, you know what? It's Morbin time, Troy.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of miss Morbin time. I kind of miss it. Yeah.
Did that? All right. So as a guy who's super ignorant, did that actually happen in the movie?
No.
Okay, I didn't actually know.
The whole joke around that whole meme was nobody saw the movie and no one gave a shit about the movie. And then when they saw the memes, they put it back in theaters. And because they didn't understand that the meme was nobody gives a fuck about this movie,
It made
nobody
no money.
saw it again. I think it made like $18 per theater.
No. So like one person bought a ticket?
And then they came out with the petition where they said we were all busy that weekend. We waited in the third time.
This concludes our She-Hulk coverage. However, Troy, I got a funny story to tell you. You're gonna laugh. It's great. So I just got back from vacation.
I'm
with
just
my
gonna cap it
friends.
off with this: leader, yes or no?
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Final episode, leader. They're getting the rights to Hulk stuff soon. They have the villain's called the Hulk King.
I'm not against it. I just don't think that if it is the leader, I don't think we're gonna get that fight in this episode.
Like
I
it's
think
like
it'll
an end
be-
credit scene. Now, speaking of which, 4 no end credit scenes in a row.
Yeah, I feel like the end credit scenes are more of a gimmick and not a staple. So I'm
The
kind of
last one
disappointed.
will have one. I'm gonna call it right now.
It better. There's no way you shouldn't have one, especially if it's the finale of your sitcom. But
I'm just gonna
Leader.
for the sake of making this a betting man's podcast. I'm gonna say yes if you're gonna stick to no.
yeah,
Only
I
for
think
the
I'm going no.
for the sake of the bet, and because I think it's actually a possibility.
I'm going no because I never want to get my hopes up with Marvel because every time I did in the past, I've always been let down. I wanted so much more from the Hawkeye show and I didn't get it, and I wanted so much more from Civil War and I didn't get it. Civil War is good. I'm not saying it isn't. I just wanted more because having read those comics, there's like 200 of them in that storyline, like, and I didn't get most of that. It felt bad. However, I understand they had to cut out everything with a mutant in it.
And Fantastic Four.
And Fantastic Four, which I believe the mutants especially were huge parts of the Civil War, if memory serves. So,
well, them and Fantastic Four are a huge part of everything. So
until Marvel decided they weren't, because Disney was like, stop making those comics because we don't own them, and we want to try to force the rights back. And that's not a very pro-consumer move. It's not a very pro-gamer move either. Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying no, leader. And you're saying yes, leader?
I'll say yes, leader, for the sake of drama.
Okay. I guess we'll wait to see which one of us gets proven wrong. Anyway, so Troy, here's a funny story.
What if they get half a leader?
Here's a funny story. So Red and I just got back from our little anniversary trip. We went and stayed
just
in,
now?
No, on Tuesday. We went and stayed in a school bus turned into a tiny home out in Lancaster. It was really, really fun. It was really cozy, and it was like a tiny little studio apartment inside a school bus. It was actually really, really cool.
Did Miss Frizzle teach about the human body?
No. It did, however, rain the entire time we were there. Which sounds miserable, but at the same time, falling asleep to the sound of rain gently hitting the roof, quite relaxing. I get home after leaving my car here for 3 days, because we took her car. And I drive.
I remember you alluded this to me before the podcast.
Wednesday morning, I go to turn my car on and drive to work, and my battery light came on. And I'm like, that's weird, but I have to go to work. I'll deal with it later. So I drive to work. I call my little sister, who was a mechanic in the Navy, and I'm like, hey, how fucked am I? And she's like, maybe a lot fucked, but I don't know. Bring it by the house after work, and I'll take a look at it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I get done work. I get in my car, and I'm driving to her house, and all of a sudden, I'm almost to her house. My power steering stops working. Yeah, like as I'm trying to go around a curve. So I call her, and I'm like, hey, this happened. And she was like, pull over now. And I'm like, I think I can make it to the house. And she was like, please be careful. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I get to the house. I park in the driveway, turn my car off. And she's like, why'd you turn it off? Turn it back on. I go to turn it back on. Won't turn on. Completely won't turn on. And I'm like, okay, cool. So she pulls out a battery tester, and now my dad's involved. And they test the battery, and they're like, the battery's okay. And then they test a couple other things, and my dad's like, well, your alternator's fucked. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he was like, your alternator's fucked. It's just not giving your battery power. I'm like, do alternators just fail like that? And he was like, sometimes. They're weird. And I was like, how is a crucial part of how a car functions so finicky? And he just shrugged. My dad just shrugged. And he was like, I don't know what to tell you, kid. Doesn't work. And I was like, all right, cool. So I guess I need a new one. And he was like, yeah, there's an AutoZone nearby. They have them in stock. It shouldn't be more than like $100. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, just get a refurb one. Just be like $100. Come back here. I'll show you how to swap it out. So I go to AutoZone. And I was like, hey, I have a 2013 Corolla. Do you have an alternator? And just the lady's like, I have one in stock, and it is a refurb. Is that okay? And I was like, that's absolutely fine. Give it to me. And she's like, cool. Let me ring it up, and that'll be $320. And I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, well, there's a $60 core fee that you get refunded once you return the old alternator because we recycle them. And I'm like, $60? Okay. Okay.
My math is not 100.
No.
It comes back to not 100.
No. So I get back to the house with the alternator because of fucking course I had to buy it because I need a fucking alternator or I can't get home or to work. So I get back to my dad's house with the alternator. And we're putting it in, and I hear, uh-oh. And I'm like, Dad, what do you mean, uh-oh? And he was like, just what I said, kid, uh-oh. Don't worry about it. And I'm like, what do you mean, don't worry about it? And he was like, and then we finally get it out, and he was like, see this? This is half a bolt. The other half is still in the alternator, and it's not coming out. And I was like, so what? And he was like, so we need a new bolt. You got to go to AutoZone and get a new bolt. So I go to AutoZone with the old alternator for my $60 back.
She goes, well.
No, it's the guy. She went home, so it's a new cashier in charge. And I'm just like, listen, the bolt broke. It's still in the alternator. I need a new one just like that. And he manages to put pliers on it and gets a hammer and just fucking nails it, and it just comes right out. Like, we tried for a good 10 minutes. We couldn't get it out. This dude made it look like fucking cake. And then he's like, yeah.
Was that the secret? The alternator was also cake?
No.
Okay.
But he was like, the bolt is this size. I don't know how long it is since I only have half of it. So maybe call your dad, figure out what size you need. So I call my dad, no answer. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to get like 4 different sizes and I'll return the ones that don't fit. And he's like, great idea. So I buy the 4 different bolts. I go home and I get home. My dad's like, oh, I tried to call you. And I'm just like, no, you didn't. And he's like, yeah, I was putzing around the garage. I found a bolt in a jar. You didn't need to do that. So alternator's in and you're good to go. And I was like, I'm like, what the fuck? Wait, really? And he was like, yeah, see, it's there. It's not moving. And I was like, okay, now what? And he was like, now we jump your car and you're good. So I jumped the car and I drove back to the AutoZone. I returned all of the bolts. And the guy kind of chuckled and he was like, yeah, your dad had one in a jar. That's funny. and he returned all the bolts.
Oh, the old bolt jar. Works every time.
My dad has a bolt jar. That's an actual thing. It's an old mason jar that he has laying around.
Do you think that Frankenstein has those too? He just takes them out and just...
It's a snazzy day today. I've got the wing nuts on.
Why does it sound like Bane?
It's not. Bane is more like this. This is Frankenstein.
No, those sound very different to me. You're right. Yeah, you corrected. Proved me wrong. Goddamn.
So, all of this is happening, and I'm calling my fiance while this is happening because she had the day off yesterday while I'm doing all this, and she's like, I had the day off, so I made like this really nice dinner, and I even made like a strawberry shortcake dessert, and now you're not home for dinner, and I'm just like, fuck, god damn it, god fucking damn it. On top of missing dinner, which I'm fat, I never miss dinner. Man, I had a hell of a day yesterday. I didn't get home till like 10 o'clock at night. It was an event.
Do you need like a over the podcast hug?
No, it's over now.
Okay. Seems not over. It seems like you're,
I just got my car looked at like a month ago for like my 5,000 mile inspection. And my sister was like, yeah, they'll definitely check out your battery. They're not going to look at an alternator on those kind of inspections unless you ask them to. And I was like, well, how do I know if I need them to look at the alternator? And she was like, you don't. You don't know it's going until it dies. And I'm like, again, this is the worst fucking way of knowing. How is it such a crucial piece of the car's structure? You have no idea of checking up on it until it's too late.
Think about it this way. Don't worry about it.
I didn't worry about it. And then $320 later, I was stuck at my dad's house until 10 o'clock at night getting my alternator replaced.
Yeah, but you should be good for a while before you need to not worry about it again. You just gotta live in a perpetual state of, it's fine, until it's not. And then you deal with it, and then you move on.
Yeah, totally. Oh, Jesus Christ. So that was my day yesterday. Just felt like sharing.
All right. Well, I hung out with friends and played fighting games. That was my day yesterday. It was much better.
Thank you all for listening to our lovely little podcast.
I don't know why you didn't do that.
I hope you all enjoyed it as much as we enjoy giving it to you. There are links in the description that I want you to click on and check out if you so desire.
Check them out.
Leave us reviews. Be nice to us because I'm a sensitive little soy boy and I will cry if you're mean to me. That was it. I don't know why you're still looking at me. I don't know why you're still in my house, Troy.
I'm not even going to blink.
Thursday Night Football is happening. I'm going to watch it as soon as you leave.
I'm not going to leave. We're going to start the next podcast right now.
I'm going to call the police and have you trespassed.
I'm not going.
Good night, everybody.